Welcome back to Best Pod Available. Joe DeLeone, Ryan Roberts. Continuing on with our draft expert series where we've gotten the opinions of so many different people across the industry to talk about the upcoming NFL draft. We've got a very fun one today. Guy that I've been watching his videos for a very long time on YouTube, content creator Bengal. Bengal, appreciate you hopping on. I know it's crazy right now with free agency and everything, trying to keep up with all the craziness, but it is going to be interesting to see what happens with the implications for the 2026 draft. Has there been just any general takeaways for you for major things that have shifted?
Yeah, you know what? I think the top has somewhat stayed the same. I think, with the big spenders like Jets, the Titans, the Raiders, they still have a ton of needs, but it's also, a situation where they're picking so high. It's best player available at a premium position. I still think, obviously, the Raiders, but also the Jets, the Titans are set up in a position to do that. Now, whether or not the Titans now pivot to a running back in the case of Jeremiah Love is going to be interesting to follow. That's the current rumor, as I'm sure you guys are tapped into. So I don't know if I love that as much as everybody else seems to. But it also depends who gets to 4. I think you could make a good enough argument for Sonny Styles compared to Jeremiah Love at that spot for Tennessee in particular. But it'll be interesting to monitor.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that you say that, Bengal, because I've actually had that debate a ton of times because some of the folks that work at A to Z who covered the Tennessee Titans, they actually assert that, they haven't touched edge outside of Jermaine Johnson, so that actually could open up the opportunity for David Bailey or Ruben Bain if one of those guys are there. So, it is going to be fascinating to see, who they just kind of prefer there. Because who knows what's going to happen with the first 3 picks anyway, right? So, it's a little bit of a wild card right now.
Yeah, Tennessee doesn't really make a lot of sense on what they're going to do, but you mentioned Jeremiah Love, and we were quite literally, as you were coming in here, we were just having this conversation about this. I'm a Giants fan. I know that you're a Giants guy. But what do you think of this concept of possibly the Giants taking Jeremiah Love at that 5 spot? I'm not totally out on it being an ND guy. I don't think it makes a ton of sense, but would you be in favor of the Giants making a move like that?
I'm not totally out on it either. The Giants are in a weird spot. Even bring back Illuminor, which I'm a huge fan of, especially at the price point. It's a 2-year deal. It's not necessarily a long-term fix. So if the Giants wanted to consider a Francis Maui Noah that could potentially solve a guard spot now and a tackle spot potentially later, I would like that, right? I think you can make the same case for Spencer Fano, who I still think is in the top 10 conversation. Need to see the real arm measurements. Everything at the Combine was a little bit bizarre with that. But you can make a very strong argument that Jeremiah Love will be the best player available. I like Tyrone Tracy, but that's as far as I would go. I think he's a running back by committee type of player. I like the way he catches the ball out of the backfield. Cam Scadaboo, it seems like everybody is acting like is a bona fide superstar when he's another, I think, change of pace type of back. He's a short yardage guy. I also like the way he catches the ball, but how is he going to be post serious leg injury? I don't know about that. And this was a guy who kind of lacked, explosiveness in the first place. I love him as a player, but is he going to be a lead back for, 3 or 4 years? I'm not really sure what that shelf life looks like. So it's a little bit of a question for me where I think if you're going to say best player available, who actually makes the team notably better, it's probably Jeremiah Love. They want to run the football. Obviously, there's an argument to be made about wide receiver. Is that the direction the Giants actually want to go? It seems like if they're picking up Daniel Faalele, are they going to have enough time to throw the football? They want to go power run, and I think Jeremiah Love helps you do that.
But the Faalele thing is, I don't know if I'm hoping there's not news there, by the way. I'm praying to God that there's no news there. But I know that it's a rumor at the current moment. That was one moment where I was like, please, for the love of God, do not let this can't be the one guy. This has to be the one guy that I do not want in New York.
It's hilarious. Well, Bang, we didn't mean to make this a Giants-centric podcast, but I'm actually going to ask one follow-up here if I can. Is there a player at number 5 that you would absolutely hate being the pick? Like right now, and I know we're early, we still have several weeks, but is there a guy where you're just like, if the Giants do that, I am going to hate my life for a little bit here?
I've been asked this a lot, and I really think the way it's shaping up, probably not. I really don't think so. I think the talent there is not maybe what you're used to at the 5th overall pick, but I would be happy with a Sonny Styles. We just talked about Jeremiah Love in terms of where he is in the class. He's a top 3 player. I think Maui Noah is a really solid option. I think Fano is a solid option. And, Mansour DeLeone to me feels like kind of the reach of the bunch. But the Giants desperately need corner, and he's arguably the best one in the class. If you go back to 2024, I do prefer the McCoy tape, but DeLeone was very, very good in 2025. I think what limits him are the measurables, probably, and how good of a fit is that in Denard Wilson's defense? That's a different question, because he's not the longest, he's average athlete, maybe. So is that really warranting taking that corner top 5? Maybe not. But I think Downs is going to be a solid player in the league. I'm high on him as a player, so I don't know who they could possibly take there where it'd be like, I can't believe it. I mean, Carnell Tate, I think, is going to be a good pro, even if he's not, a prototypical X or wide receiver 1. I think he would work well with Malik Neighbors. So is there anyone that seems completely ridiculous that's in the realm of possibility? You could even make a good enough argument where I'd be happy with Venga Ioane just because I think the floor is high, even though it's like a non-Quentin Nelson guard at 5.
Right.
It wouldn't be my favorite, but do you guys have any ideas about who would actually be ridiculous at the spot that seems within the realm of possibility?
Well,
all the things that would be bad don't seem possible. Well, if you take Bain, at least you can make the argument in the 3-4 that he's going to play 5 tech.
Right.
But
right.
Bailey would be completely ridiculous. I don't think that's a possibility. If Arvell Reese gets to 5, I'm not even mad about it if you take him because you can play him off ball, and I like that a lot as well. I would be very happy with Reese at 5. I mean, you could make a really strong argument that he's the better off-ball linebacker than Sonny Styles.
Can I throw one guy at you if we're talking about ridiculousness? Because you mentioned Francis Mauanoa as an offensive tackle prospect that could potentially be there. What if they went, and I don't know your thoughts on this player, but what if they went full riser talk that we've been dealing with over the last few weeks, and they went Monroe Freeling at number 5? Would you be happy or against that?
I thought you would say that with the build-up.
Yeah.
Freeling's an interesting one because he's obviously a left tackle, and Andrew Thomas is the guy, but Andrew Thomas loves to not play. It's almost his favorite thing to do, other than playing. He really misses so much time. I think that wouldn't be the best pick the Giants could make because you do have the left tackle, and I think part of the big argument for Freeling, whose tape is not as good as Maui Noah, in my opinion, or Fano, or, you can even make a case, Caleb Lomu. The case for Freeling is he's got unbelievably great overall size and length and athleticism for that. I've seen a Colton Miller comp thrown around, and if you get Colton Miller, that's a pretty great return. But if you flip him over to that right side, there's not really a guarantee that he's going to be as great. It's a lot of projectability either way. I guess Freeling is within the realm of possibility. I don't think it's a likelihood. But if you're going to take a player based on upside, well, he wouldn't have to play right away. And then you wouldn't have to worry about an Illuminor extension. And when Andrew Thomas inevitably misses time, you at least have somebody that profiles as an NFL tackle, which it's rare to find those guys. Is Marcus Bowe going to be the swing tackle? I wouldn't mind Freeling in the mix. I like Bowe, but I can rationalize pretty much any player. There have been guys that I've hated the Giants taking over the past several years. Eli Apple most notably, I would say. But I think, I liked the Evan Neal pick at the time, and that was horrendous. So, but you can't know how that's going to work out. He didn't handle that transition from left to right either, but he also had experience at right tackle, and he was still awful. So, it's tough to say.
Right. Yeah, it's not been a fun track record of draft picks for the Giants. It's been tough being a Giants fan. To get us back broad, though, who's one prospect, and we're in hyperbole season right now. Everybody's going to kind of have these big, crazy takes. Who's one prospect that you're lower on than maybe everybody else that's been building a lot of buzz?
I don't really see the David Bailey number 2 overall hype at all. Okay. I recognize the potential to win quickly. He's a great speed rusher. I question how translatable he's going to be, especially, you go and see the Utah game, and it's like that guy was fairly neutralized compared to what we saw in against BYU. The Big 12 just didn't have many good tackles outside of, I guess you can make the case for, Arizona State now with Ian Nachor at right tackle, but Bailey, played a lot of right end. And I mean, the Utah tackles are quite good, but I mean, do we really expect Fano or Lomu to be one of the top tackles in the NFL? Maybe not. I mean, maybe average starter is kind of what you're hoping for there. So the fact that Bailey either wins quickly or not at all very often, and I don't really know what he gives you as a run defender, that's not the number 2 overall pick to me. Now, I get that this class is not like most years, but I could totally see Bailey working out, especially if he goes to the right system where they just literally are saying you're rushing the passer. But am I taking a designated pass rusher at number 2 overall? I'm probably not. So he's got to continue to grow as a run defender, which obviously nobody's a perfect prospect. Nobody's complete at this point. But to me, David Bailey in most classes, like, is he that different of a prospect compared to a Chop Robinson? I think Chop Robinson defended the run a bit better. So, and Chop was what, the 23rd pick, 21st pick, somewhere in that range. So yep. I think it's a lot of, you're hoping David Bailey wins instantly a lot, and if he doesn't, good luck. So I'm a little bit lower on David Bailey, and that's not to say that I think he's a bad player. I just, number 2 overall seems very rich to me.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to kind of talk quarterbacks for a second because I've actually hated talking this quarterback class because I absolutely hate it. I mean, full transparency there, obviously. And we know that we have Fernando Mendoza. I know there's some people that are in on Ty Simpson out of Alabama, some people that aren't. But I want to ask you a little bit of a deeper question in terms of, I feel like when it's not a great class, just overall, some of us do try to find our pet cat in the class, right? Like the guy that we're still like, hey, day 3, that's the guy. I still like that player. Is there anybody in this class that you look at and say, while he might not be that guy today, I still have a lot of hope that he could be better than maybe what his projection is currently, if that makes sense?
Yeah, hope is an interesting word there.
Yes.
Yeah, hope is a dangerous thing. Yes. I mean, I think... people point to Aller. I don't really see it there at all. I just see a strong arm guy. Mm-hmm. Like, and that's, if you can't play quarterback, I don't really care how hard you throw the ball. I mean, Cole Payton maybe, but that's another case of a guy who's often wildly inaccurate. I think Cole Payton, and this is a nice little lefty-lefty comp, but I think he compares favorably to Michael Penix as a prospect. I wasn't especially high on Penix. I actually thought he was pretty bad. I was insanely surprised to see him go top 10. And everyone pointed to, oh, look how good he is. Oh, he's playing with 3 NFL wide receivers, like in the Big Ten against, Indiana, who sucked at the time, and all these different terrible teams lighting up Purdue, whatever. Texas had the worst secondary ever. They lit him up in the college football playoff. And Penix is great because he will throw some of the best balls you've ever seen, and then some of the worst. So I like a little bit more consistency. Peyton doesn't have that, but I think Cole Payton is not awfully far from Penix as a prospect, which seems ridiculous, but Penix was I think he was my 50th overall player that year. So wow. I wasn't close to where other people were. So, and quarterback is one of those positions that people are spaced widely on every year. So it's tough to say, but I don't love the quarterbacks. It's a mean question to ask me who I like. I don't really like any of them. But if you had to tell me that the high upside guy down the board, yeah, maybe Peyton, but yeah, I don't know. Nussmeier is going to be a great backup. That's where I'll plant my flag.
Okay. Last question I have before we let you go here. If you had to deliver what you think is your most controversial draft take right now, like one that maybe is against the grain and away from everybody else's perspectives, what do you think that is right now?
Outside of David Bailey, because I guess you kind of gave us a little bit of that on David Bailey.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, he is
true.
a little bit of a controversial player. I don't know if there's more like a mainstream take that I think most people kind of agree with.
Like Ryan hates Ruben Bain. I
don't hate Ruben Bain. I just don't see top 5 pick Ruben Bain. I actually think there is some credence to maybe reducing him down into tighter alignments at times. Like I think that's my I guess that is my controversial take. I suppose. I don't know.
Yes.
What is a super draft hot take? I mean, there are players I probably am higher on compared to consensus. I like Keontae Scott quite a bit. Okay. I think he's going to end up being a great nickel. Traden Stukes, but people are high on him as well down the board.
Yeah.
I think maybe, I'll give you a hot take here. I think Josiah Trotter is a top 3 linebacker in the class, probably. I don't. Maybe is that hot? I feel like people are higher on Jacob Rodriguez now.
Yeah.
For the rest of everybody else, it's hot. But for Ryan and I, we both love Trotter, so it's not totally.
You know what's
crazy.
You know what's funny? Like I'll put it like this: like the hardcore people in draft Twitter that like to go super in depth and detailed. I feel like that's not hot for them, but I think from the general public perspective, that would be super hot because I think most people would just have it kind of chalky of like Arvell Reese if you have him as a linebacker, Sonny Styles, and then they would probably have like a Anthony Hill Jr. and they might have a Jacob Rodriguez over him.
Right.
But I think consensusly, like on this show, we agree with you probably in that take.
Yeah, I love Jake Galday. I think he's potentially in that conversation as well. Like, if you're going to exclude Arvell Reese, I mean, Sonny Styles, I would say 1. I think Galday's in that conversation for 2 or 3. I think he's right there with C.J. Allen. I think Trotter's very close as well. So, I mean, I love the linebacker class. I really do.
It's a great class.
I'm maybe not as high on Rodriguez as everybody else seems to be, but I think he's a good player. I mean, I think there are a lot of good players in this class where you'll have a role as a starter potentially. But I mean, are there many superstars? We'll get some, I'm sure. But in terms of how they seem to be as prospects, it doesn't look great. It's a lot of well, we'll see what happens. Like, Caleb Banks is like the biggest guy in that regard for me. We'll see what happens with Caleb Banks. Looks like a Pro Bowler on some snaps and undraftable on others.
Well, appreciate you taking the time to hop on with us here. This was so awesome getting to chat up with you and talk a little bit about the draft. You got any projects or anything coming along that you're looking to promote or anything along those lines?
Nope, just grinding away. You know, a lot of film to work through over the next couple of months. So you guys know the grind. It takes a long time. So we'll see about the upload. But they usually get a little sporadic around this time.
And then you take a little time off, and then you're on to 2027 NFL draft.
Oh, yeah.
So breaks never stop.
Pretty much.
All right, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. Go and check out Bengal's channel. Go and subscribe to his channel. Also, hit subscribe on Best Pod available as well. Hit that like button, and we'll catch you guys later.